always be there in you.
And I think that all that comes from educating yourself when you're passionate about your music. You need to not just be passionate, but also put in the effort and learn. You need to learn before you start earning, and that's very, very important.
Put in countless hours. You know, it doesn't matter. You can't keep counting. Oh, it's too late. It's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Art doesn't have any time limits. It should just be. You should just do your best and give your best. Put in all your heart and soul, and even then, sometimes you fail. You know, but that's what it's all about. It's never a go. There's no pain, no gain. You have to work hard towards it. Of course, sir.
So I wanted to ask you, Salim bhai, you mentioned, and as well Sulaiman bhai, that your aim has always been to make a good song, not a hit song.
That's right.
So in today's day and age, when everybody is hyper-connected, anyone can upload anything, push a few buttons and say that they've produced a track.
Like that. That's well said. Yeah.
Right? And so, in today's day and age, for those who are sitting in this audience who want to pursue music, what sorts of things would they need to do, or would you advise that they do to help gain traction in their craft? Because you've been observers in the industry for a long time. You're very versatile and you're still here. So you've certainly noticed things that work and don't work.
It's very important to learn an instrument. If you're a singer, even if you're a singer, you must learn how to play some instrument. That's the key. I think, a lot of people think that, because in GarageBand and laptops, it's just, there are loops there, you just play something and you feel the power that you're making music. It's not you, it's the machine. You should be able to play a chord and sing, and or if you're a sitar player, you should be able to play a raga, or a tabla player, you should be able to play a qaida or whatever it is. Or if you're a drummer or a bass player, you should be able to play through changes and play through different music. It's very important to learn and to pick up an instrument and develop your skill with that. The machine, the laptop, and these loops and all that, it just makes your job easier. But it doesn't really give you music. It doesn't really show you, it doesn't really create for you. It's just a tool. It helps you take your idea somewhere. But the idea has to happen inside you.
You have to be independent of the machine, not dependent on the machine to give you everything.
You can use technology, but the soul is very important, that has to come from within. You can't really press a few buttons and then that's it. And it's happening these days, with the whole DJ culture and all that. And it's all great. Electronic music is fantastic as well, but it's important to create your own and then produce it electronically.
The reason why I ask is because we're very fortunate in our Jamat, especially in Calgary, to have very talented and strong musicians.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're trying to balance the passion that they have for the music, for the practicality of living life in this world that we live in. And so what would you say to artists who are wondering?
I want to say one thing, that don't be swirled away with this whole electronica world. It's very easy to fall into this trap of using loops and using all these textures and tones and and forgetting the real soulful stuff that comes out from human beings. Don't forget that, because that's true, that's real music. You can all the other stuff is just frequencies. They're just frequencies that kind of enhance your music. But the music comes from within. It's very important to feel that. That's very important.
And for those who are considering music versus law, medicine, architecture, social work,
it's the
politics, we have an aspiring musician here in the front. Mayor.
Isn't this the age-old question, or how do you balance your parents' request that you need to become a doctor?
Let's put it like that. Let's put it like that. If you're studying law, let's say if it's law versus music, take law, but keep music. Because when you're stuck with law, music will help you.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you're a musician and you know a little bit of law, you're super successful. Because musicians always need a lawyer.
It's a tough one, but listen, you have to balance, right? So you have to go with the obvious right thing to do, but you know, at some point you might be able to switch over. So if it's your passion, and your passion could be Xbox and you could be playing for 6 hours, right? So why not study music for 6 hours instead?
I'll make it better than what Sulaiman is saying. If he's saying that, what he was trying to say is that if you're a lawyer, you'll be working. If you're a musician, you'll never work. It's true. We are on longest holiday. We are on a holiday for the longest time. We don't work. It's something we love doing. But as a lawyer, you're fighting cases and doing whatever rest.
No, that's one thing, but the other thing which is most important is how to balance it till you reach a stage where you feel that your music, your passion is becoming your profession, which is what has happened for us. Our passion actually became our profession, and it started making us more money than maybe a lawyer would make, probably.
I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't seen a dime in my life yet.
You should have studied law, Salim. Yeah, so I have a final question.
Yes.
I remember learning of you when I first heard music from Khana.
I remember meeting you in London after the concert where you gave me the Golden Jubilee CD.
That's right.
Something, yeah.
So speaking of Golden Jubilee, just in terms of legacy, there has been such a swell of beautiful music from you. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Astaghfirullah, and countless others that have
Noor
come.
Ilahi.
Noor Ilahi, yes, one of my favorites. And this has all happened since the Golden Jubilee.
That's right.
And you played a very special role in composing music that was featured in every Golden Jubilee DVD. I'm not sure if the Jamat knew that, but that song that you hear, maybe you can sing it better.
It wasn't even finished. It was really sad that we could not even finish it. It was just a sketch which we had sent to the council, and it somehow leaked, and it was used all over. It wasn't official, but then it became official. But the sad thing that it wasn't even complete. It was very, very sketchy and very rough. Which is fine.
We completed it.
But that's why we decided that this time for Diamond Jubilee, we are not going through any council or anything. We will release it on YouTube straight away. Yeah, that's it. But we're very, very happy that
it did make it to the council, and
yes,
it did go through the official channels.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so the reason why I ask you this question is because for a number of reasons, your work, your vision, your hard work, life has become very different since Golden Jubilee. It was an inflection point for you, it was an inflection point for the Jamat, for the artists within the Jamat. There's been so much beauty in the last 10 years. We now find ourselves at another inflection point. The year for the Jamat began musically with Jubilee Mubarak. It plays everywhere we go. There are still a few months remaining in the year, so 2 questions. 1, what is your legacy going to be, or what would you like it to be, Diamond Jubilee going forward? And what kind of a legacy do you think Ismaili artists can leave, using this year, as Hazrat Imam says, as their trampoline?
Well, this is really not my answer. It's for all Ismaili artists, really. But I think what we are aiming for is to get maximum participation, especially in the field of music, this Jubilee Mubarak song was actually a very important moment for us, a showcase for us, because it did showcase so many Ismaili artists from all over the world, including yourself and Tasmiyah. So it was nice that so this is the starting point. I don't know what we're going to do next, but definitely